Vice President Kamala Harris says she is ready to serve as commander-in-chief if necessary, though she brushed off concerns about President Biden's age as the pair campaigns for a second term. Here's the Veep herself on with CBS News' Margaret Brennan. Let's watch.
You're 58 now. If you win a second term, as you and the president are running to do, he would be 86 at the end of it. The Wall Street Journal had a poll showing 2/3 of Democrats say Joe Biden is too old to run again. Are you prepared to be commander-in-chief?
Yes, I am, if necessary. But Joe Biden is going to be fine. And let me tell you something. I work with Joe Biden every day. The work that under Joe Biden's leadership our administration has accomplished is transformative. I think the American people, most of all, want a leader who actually gets things done.
All right, so Michael, you did comms for the First Lady, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did you think of her answer? Do you think it would have been maybe better if she had led with Joe Biden is, in great health, we have nothing to worry about, as opposed to, yes, I am ready to take over?
No, I thought it was fine. I think that, first of all, she answered the question, which
very
is
rare for her.
Very rare for a lot of politicians, in which I think that there is underestimated value in. People love to spin and pivot, and I think viewers can see through that, and it comes off as a little disingenuous. But she was really good. She answered the question directly. She is ready to be president on day one. That's why he picked her in the first place, and and she's right. Look, I was with the Bidens for 3 years between the campaign and the White House. And, I traveled with them for 3 years in their traveling bubble. And I can't tell you, I was ready for a break. I don't know how the man does it, but he exercises every day. He rides bikes. He occasionally works out with his wife and does Pilates. A
lot of vacation time. 40% of his presidency.
He's not golfing every weekend, like the former one. But they do go home to Delaware, and that's not vacation. That's where they live. But I will say, the man is extremely active. I've never seen Donald Trump ride a bike or do Pilates.
I don't think anyone wants to see that, to be fair.
Maybe not. But no, I thought her answer was great. And I'd be, if I were the White House, I'd be very, very pleased with it. And she's right. The president is very healthy. He's very fit. I think the age stuff is a bit overblown. But look, Democrats knew what they were getting when they voted for him in the primary, and independents knew what they were getting when they voted for him in the general.
Well, I will give Kamala this. It's not the worst answer I've ever heard from her. I agree. She did directly answer the question, which is a first. She didn't give one of her normal circular logic word salads that we sometimes hear about yellow school buses and the time of the moment, and the moment is now, and et cetera, et cetera. But I will say this. The GOP just saw that, and they breathed a huge sigh of relief. If not, we're throwing confetti in the air, because that's a campaign ad for them. Because Kamala is not popular with the American people. She's less popular than Joe Biden somehow, even though she's not a very forward-facing vice president. And so for her to say publicly, yes, I'm prepared to be president, they're going to cut that, and they're going to put that all over the airwaves, because they want to make the case Joe Biden maybe works out a lot. I think a lot of people have questions about his cognitive ability at this point, based on the numerous gaffes that he's made, based on the fact that he leaves events early without knowing where he's going. He's at FEMA. He's wandering around. His handlers have to show him where to go.
The guy's been making gaffes his entire life. That's what's great about Joe Biden.
I think people see that this is different.
What you see is what you get with Joe Biden. That's why people love him, and he's endearing, because he is who he is, and he doesn't pretend to be anybody else.
I think it was endearing when he still seemed to know what was going on, but now when you see someone who doesn't know where he is half the time and is not able to make it through a basic speech,
I don't think that's fair.
Scary. That's actually scary. And he's the commander-in-chief.
I presume you feel the same way about Mitch McConnell.
I actually do. I've said it on this show.
Good. Excellent. No, but going back to your point, look, the vice president she's been an extremely, she transitioned as a very seamless number two, a really good partner for the president, and that's why he picked her. And look, she's talented.
At what?
She's talented. You don't get to be, let's put it this way. She's the first woman vice president
What
of the
does
United
that mean?
States. Well, you don't get to
Who
be
cares?
district attorney of a major city, attorney general of the biggest state with one of the world's largest economies, and become a U.S. senator and become vice president of the United States if you don't have natural talent. She has natural talent, and I think the secret's out of the bag for the Republicans.
What
I just want to let them know the American people know Kamala Harris is vice president. They know she can inherit the office. I don't think it's a big secret. So I don't know what about that interview would make a compelling ad other than reminding their base that they don't like Kamala Harris.
Well, it's not a secret, but I mean, you know as well as I do in political communications that hammering a message over and over again does serve to...
Sure, but people are voting for the top, not the bottom.
I want to go back, though, to your statement that she is the first woman. Is woman a qualification now?
No, but I'm saying
So why does it matter?
There are a lot of women out there who are talented and more competent than most men. She's the one that became vice president of the United States. She's the one. Out of all the women out there, she broke the barrier.
Unfortunately, I think that doesn't speak well to women, in my opinion.
Why not?
She hasn't had a single accomplishment as vice president.
She's vice president. That's real. What are you supposed to accomplish as vice president, by the way?
Well, she was put in charge of the border. She was put in charge of getting the voting rights bill passed.
Your job as vice president is to be the best number 2 you can be. Your job is not to get out ahead of the president. Your job is not to get more press than the president.
No, of course not. But Biden did give her specific tasks that she was supposed to be in charge of.
The vice president takes on and asks for roles. The president doesn't assign her anything. She's not a student. But to your point about what she was doing, I think there's a lot of confusion about this border thing. She wasn't assigned or tasked to be the border czar and make the border safe. That is not, and maybe it was a messaging failure on the part of her team or the White House, but that was not her responsibility. Her responsibility was trying to figure out the root cause of why
I love
people
that
are
root
fleeing.
Cause. That was her.
People
her
are
catchphrase.
fleeing. Well, I mean, it's true. Who is at the border? They're coming from Central America and South America.
It's true.
That is the root, and the root cause is lack of opportunity, crime, political persecution. That is what she was trying to help resolve, and that is what we are as a nation member of the Summit of the Americas are trying to resolve. That's why we partner and we go down to places like Ecuador and Costa Rica and Panama, because those places are investing in education, they are investing in their people and trying to keep opportunities there. And that is what the vice president was assigned to do. Had nothing really to do with the border. I don't know why it got messed up, the message on that, but messaging failure maybe on our part, who knows? But it got totally blown out of a proportion and completely out of context.
I suspect part of the perceived failure was that under Biden, you have record numbers of illegal aliens crossing the southern border, the highest number in a given month under the Trump administration, in which it was deemed a crisis, was in the spring of 2019, when you saw just about 100,000 migrants come across in 1 month. Mm-hmm. As soon as Biden took office, the number skyrocketed. We've been seeing 200,000, 250,000 a month. So when you are, in response to those numbers, saying the vice president is going to work on the border.
That wasn't her role, to work on the border. We have a border patrol that works on the border.
Well, of course,
her job
but you can support
was
them.
much more
you can go
substantively policy related, and the policy was about the root cause of immigration coming from the triangle, the Central American countries and South American countries, people fleeing poverty, violence, political persecution, joblessness.
What has been the policy change that she's enacted in response to those
Vice presidents don't enact
I know,
anything.
But they propose.
They make recommendations to the president.
So what were her recommendations?
I don't know. I don't think she's done with the job.
You don't think she's done yet? Well,
No.
I mean, I think on a basic level, if you're going to address issues related to migration,
sure,
you have to address both push and pull factors.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And the Biden administration has basically increased all of the pull factors.
Can we agree that, well, first of all, President Trump, in his last year, had more illegal border crossings than President Obama did in his last year, according to Pew Research. Now, can we agree that the border is a bipartisan problem and has been a problem under presidents Republican and Democrat, that this crisis did not start on January 21st of 2021, or January 20th
I
of 2021.
agree with you. The border is not a bipartisan. Is a bipartisan issue. It's an American issue.
What has changed, though, is the compassion that the Republican Party used to have about this issue under people like George W. Bush, Rick Perry, and certainly the king of amnesty himself, Ronald Reagan.
I don't think it's compassionate to encourage people to make a deadly, dangerous trek paying coyotes who don't give a damn about them, so they roast in the back of tractor trailers.
Think about that, how
Texas.
desperate they are to have a life free of that.
That doesn't mean that we owe them our resources and our jobs, right?
But there's only so many things in the world we can't do. It's a very big country. We have a lot of space. We have a lot of diversity. It's okay to be compassionate and sensitive to people who have really terrible lives, and all they want to do is improve them.
I think people have empathy for the migrants, but what they're saying is that you shouldn't encourage them to put themselves in those conditions.
And you've heard the president and the vice president say directly, the border is not open, please don't come here, and you'll be turned away.
Doesn't seem like the migrants are buying that.
I don't blame them. If I lived in their conditions, I'd want to do everything I could to get to America.
We're going to have to leave it there. We'll be back with more Rising after this.